become aware of the importance of pro bono work before I even went to law school. I volunteered with our local community center here in DC, the Central American Resource Center. I helped out with naturalization clinics and got involved in teaching some of their civics and English classes for people who are preparing for the exam. And it was the first time that I really sort of saw how it was that people were limited from accessing traditional legal services if they were of low financial means. For me, doing pro bono isn't just something that we do because of our professional responsibilities classes that we had in law school. It's an ethical obligation, not just because the bar tells us that, but because it really is something that we need to do for our communities. And especially in immigration law, given how much this system is stacked against immigrants and how representation is often the biggest factor in whether or not someone wins or loses their case. I think it's more important than ever that we each make an effort to offer some pro bono services so that we can sort of help folks fight those odds. The most rewarding experiences for me are always when I'm able to help LGBTQ asylum seekers, and especially when we can win their cases in court on the record without having them testify and be re-traumatized all over again. Those cases are especially important to me as a member of the LGBTQ community myself. And that also presents one of my biggest challenges is working with clients as they have to describe these really awful and traumatic things. And it's always sort of a there but for the grace of God go I moment, hearing about these things and knowing that they could have happened to me as well if I hadn't lucked out on the birth lottery and been born in the United States. I have two right now. One is for a trans woman from Honduras who has her individual hearing coming up in December. The case really doesn't have any out of the ordinary things going on with it, but I've had to update her country conditions a couple of times, and it's just really awful to see how nothing has improved and in fact just keeps getting worse. So I'm more determined than ever to win her case. The other one that's kind of interesting is also a case from Honduras. It's a man who is not actually gay, but because he dates trans women, the country and society consider him to be gay. So he's facing persecution, the same as if he actually was. Definitely reach out to the folks at the Immigration Justice Campaign. They have experienced mentors that they can pair you with for doing pro bono representation before the immigration courts. Also good to check in with your local AILA chapter. I know maybe not every chapter does, but at least in the DC chapter, they send out a weekly list of pro bono opportunities that we can get involved with.